before dressing up as Nino Brown and playing Rihanna Better Have My Money at a board meeting.
Nobody knows something. Don't nobody know nothing.
Tiffany Henyard certainly isn't shy about attracting attention. Here she is starting a Dolton Village board meeting dressed like the Wesley Snipes character in the movie New Jack City, later punctuating her political points with the help of her own DJ.
Every single resident. Pay me what you owe me. Thank you, DJ.
And spending taxpayers' money on an extravagant trip to Las Vegas.
That's when we reported Thornton Township taxpayers spent thousands of dollars on a trip to Las Vegas, where a shopping center conference was underway. Henyard and her allies spent thousands on everything from steak dinners to hotels and what appeared to be first-class airfare.
I do not handle anything as relates to with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas? What is that?
No comment.
You don't know if you were in Las Vegas?
Of course I do.
Were you?
It's not paid by them.
Did you fly first class to Las Vegas?
Any other questions?
It seems that Tiffany Henyard was already involved in some questionable behavior. In January of 2021, when Tiffany Henyard was still a mayoral candidate, she held a free gas giveaway event. This raised some eyebrows and sparked the question, was this an attempt to buy votes?
Season in South Suburban Dolton, and one mayoral candidate kicked it off by giving away gas for free. Here's CBS 2 political investigator Dana Kozloff with why that gift could come back to haunt her.
That gas giveaway took place right here at the Food for Less in Dolton. It was billed as a mayoral campaign kickoff for Dolton trustee Tiffany Henyard. You needed a Dolton ID to get gas. But some campaign legal experts we spoke with say if the giveaway didn't cross the legal line, it definitely stood right on top of it.
And whenever you tell me you need something, I show up and I do it by giving gas.
Tiffany Henyard enthusiastically pitched Sunday's free gas giveaway on her Tiffany for Mayor Facebook page Saturday. 24 hours later, the takers showed up in droves. The press release touting the gift of free gas stated essential workers would be given priority, but anyone with a Dolton address would be eligible too.
It is probably illegal. Technically, to prove that it's illegal, you would have to prove that her intent was to be exchanging those gas credits for votes.
So what was trustee Henyard's intent? Less than 3 months before Dolton's election, Henyard's spokesperson says she used her own money. But when asked if Henyard's intent was to exchange gas for votes or if she was aware she may be breaking the law, her spokesperson said she'd get back to me.
Thank you guys for coming to the biggest gas giveaway there is.
Henyard has given away gas before in November. Henyard was unavailable to talk with us about this issue too, and what exactly her intent was.
I would say it's inappropriate conduct regardless of whether it's technically illegal.
If there are questions about the legality of that giveaway, it would still be up to the Cook County State's Attorney's Office or to the County Board of Elections to take any action.
The topic of buying votes came up again in March when she held a fundraiser where she gave away cash prizes totaling more than $8,000.
Now comes more campaign controversy for Dolton's Tiffany Henyard, who's running for mayor.
Thank you guys for coming to the biggest gas giveaway there is.
Now, back in January, she held a gas giveaway, which raised questions about illegal vote buying. The candidate raising eyebrows again by giving away cash prizes at a fundraiser this weekend. Now, here's the ad. It's this Sunday, 5 to 8. Come support Tiffany Henyard for mayor of Dolton and maybe win one of 3 cash prizes totaling more than $8,000. While Henyard's spokesperson in the past has denied allegations of vote buying, last week Henyard claimed victory in Dolton's Democratic Party primary. If that win is certified, she would face independent Ronnie Burge in the April 6th election.
Spokesperson representing Tiffany Henyard followed up with the news and said that these events were not an attempt to buy votes. However, knowing what we know now about Tiffany Henyard, that's hard to believe. But the questionable conduct doesn't end there. Back in August of 2019, a single mother and domestic violence survivor whose rent was being subsidized via Section 8 reached out to the local news after getting no help from her landlord. for over 2 years. She said that the property was unsafe because of a mold problem resulting from multiple unfixed leaks in the roof. And guess who the landlord was? Tiffany Henyard.
Mold, water, leaks, and politics. A South suburban woman says all are connected when it comes to serious issues with the house she's renting in Dolton. And her landlord is an elected official. CBS 2's Dana Kozlov is always investigating, joins us live from the control room with this story. Dana, good evening.
Good evening, Brad. This resident says she spent the last 2 years reaching out to her landlord about problems in the house that are making it unhealthy for her and her children, and she wonders if this trustee can be trusted.
It started over here in the corner, and that's where it started, and then it just spread it.
Jacqueline Smith says she's battling mold in many places, a result of unrepaired leaks in her Dolton rental home.
It leaks in the corner where the roof, the ceiling is damaged, and then it leaks going into my kitchen, and the windowsill leaks in my daughter's room.
These are some pictures of what she says is rain dripping from her daughter's bedroom window. She says mold also grew on her daughter's shoes and is all over the side of the house, which is owned by Dolton trustee.
My first name is Tiffany.
Tiffany Henyard.
Frustrating, irritating. I just don't feel that I should be living like this.
Smith's lived in the house since 2017 with her 2 children and says she noticed problems right away. She still has her 2017 text to trustee Henyard telling her about the leaks and mold, to which Henyard responded by text.
I've done reached out multiple times. She says she's going to send someone. No one comes. She has sent someone out here for the mold one time, and they just sprayed the oven spray,
leaving her feeling helpless.
And then I felt like my back is against the wall because you are a trustee.
It's why the single mom, a domestic violence survivor and whose rent is subsidized, says she reached out to us. That and concerns about her children's health. I spoke briefly with Henyard by phone, who wonders if this may somehow be political in the oft politically charged suburb. Smith says no.
No one's put you up to this? No one's put me up to this. I have to do what I have to do as a mother and as a concerned citizen for myself and for my children.
Through a rep tonight, trustee Henyard says the house just passed an inspection back in May. She relies on a handyman for repairs and is saddened, quote, to hear that it's in that condition. She also says she will address the problems immediately. We'll see what immediately means.
The news followed up 3 months later and found that the situation had not been resolved but had gotten worse.
Mold, water leaks. Nearly 3 months ago, we first exposed serious problems in a South suburban rental home owned by a Dolton Village trustee.
Since then, the renter says it's only gotten worse. CBS 2 political investigator Dana Kozlov has also learned that trustee is pocketing tens of thousands of your tax dollars for a house that's now unlivable.
You need to get your clothes out for school.
Jacqueline Smith and her 2 children called this hotel room home for almost a month. Ever since the Dolton house they were renting from village trustee Tiffany Henyard was slapped with this.
A big red sign that I cannot live there because it's unlivable.
Unlivable mostly because of mold.
All mold. Even growing on the bottom of the shoes is mold.
Mold that Smith's landlord, trustee Henyard, pledged to immediately clean up after we first reported on the problem in August.
And that's where it started.
Smith says workers came and painted. The house even passed a village inspection. Issues abated, notes Inspector Brian Thigpen in this September report, except they weren't.
It's horrible.
Enter activist David Lowry, who called Dolton directly. Suddenly, the house deemed livable on September 3rd became unfit for occupancy on October 15th. Lowry's theory?
The trustee used her power and influence.
We caught up with Henyard before last week's board meeting. I want to talk to you about that house on Dearborn. Can we do that?
My attorney's right here, so if you got any questions, I have legal counsel. Talk to my attorney.
So you want me to talk to your attorney and not you? You can't tell me how that house failed an inspection in October when it just passed it beforehand?
If you have any questions, talk to my attorney.
So we did.
The inspection process is within control of the village, not of the trustee. She has been instructed by the village attorney to be treated just like any other property owner.
Dolton's attorney says the house's inspection history is under investigation. And village records show a slew of past problems, with the house passing, then failing, then passing inspections for years, even before the Housing Authority of Cook County approved it as a rental property eligible for government housing assistance money, or Section 8. An HACC employee says as a landlord, Henyard's received $36,866 taxpayer dollars in Section 8 rent payments since 2017, when Smith moved in. Money that kept coming even after this foreclosure notice was filed against the house last year.
We're staying in a hotel, so.
All the while, Dolton taxpayers even helped foot the bill to keep Smith's family off the streets.
He thought that, the village should be compassionate. She had nowhere to go. She had children. What we thought was to actually bill Trustee Henyard.
There was also the issue of unsanitary conditions, a bounce check, late rent, and a business not being in good standing. South Suburban College hired Tiffany Henyard's company, Good Burger, to provide cafeteria and vending service at their main campus back in 2019. However, Tiffany Henyard's company, Good Burger, did not fulfill their contractual agreement. This is according to a letter that was sent to her by the vice president of the college on March 22nd of 2022. The letter mentions poor performance and non-compliance with the agreement and listed 16 items that needed to be fixed within 30 days or the contract would be terminated. Some of the items included failure to steam, clean, sanitize, or wipe specific equipment, lack of adequate staff. Good Burger also failed to pay the monthly rent of $416.67. The college waived some of the old rent, but there was still an outstanding balance of $2,497.02. Also, Good Burger failed to pay any cafe commissions for the last 4 years to the college, leaving an outstanding balance of $1,057.16. On November 8 of 2019, Good Burger issued a check to the college. However, the check was returned for insufficient funds. It appears that the issues listed were not rectified within 30 days, and the contract was terminated. Because back on June 9th of 2022, South Suburban sent Tiffany Henyard a letter regarding their meeting on June 7th about reopening Good Burger. The letter outlined the balances that were still owed to South Suburban College, including rent and the NSF check repayment for the bounce check that Tiffany Henyard Company issued to South Suburban College 3 years prior. I don't know if Good Burger ever reopened at South Suburban College. However, the Good Burger Corporation was involuntarily dissolved in October of 2022. When a corporation is involuntarily dissolved, this means that the corporation is not in good standing. It could be due to a failure to file annual reports or pay franchise taxes. Therefore, the business was terminated by the state. Now let's talk about Tiffany Henyard's CARES Foundation, which is a breast cancer charity. The charity has received substantial taxpayer dollars. However, the charity has not registered with the Illinois Attorney General or filed taxes with the IRS to show how the money has benefited individuals with cancer.
We are walking all over cancer on our way to Springfield. Make sure you support the cause, support the movement.
A South Suburban politician spends taxpayer dollars on a march to Springfield to promote her personal charity. But when we started asking questions, the party's over.
Fox 32 and the Illinois Answers Project, part of the Better Government Association, are investigating the charitable foundation of Tiffany Henyard, who is on 2 public payrolls as Dolton Mayor and Thornship Township Supervisor.
What we found is raising serious questions about the use of taxpayers' dollars, employees, and equipment. Fox 32's Dane Placco investigates where all that money is going.
Henyard's picture and name adorn virtually every public posting, both from Dolton, where as mayor she makes $46,000 a year, and in Thornton Township, where as the elected supervisor she collects more than $200,000 a year. But for all that money, Henyard's tenure at both has been chaotic, with firings, scandals, and a legal battle with the Dolton trustees over spending. So last fall, Henyard did something that would seemingly generate some good publicity, helping establish the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation to help breast cancer patients. And on the very day the charity was chartered, it received a huge donation, $10,000. From the Thornton Township Board, which Henyard presides over.
Taxpayer money shouldn't be paid into those types of things.
Stephanie Wiedemann is the former Thornton Township Chief of Staff, whom Henyard fired shortly after taking over in March of last year.
It almost felt like a takeover, and a very aggressive one at that.
Since her firing, Wiedemann has been documenting township spending and says she's stunned by the taxpayer dollars funneled into Henyard's charity, especially this.
We got 10 days. We're going 196 miles.
Last October, Henyard led a delegation of Dolton and Thornton Township employees and political supporters on a march to Springfield to promote her breast cancer charity, which she documented on her Facebook page.
We're walking through Dolton. All right, we're in Brightwood now. We are in Godly now. We in Bloomington, baby.
I can pretty much map out their entire Springfield trip on the township credit cards.
That's right. Henyard billed thousands of dollars in hotel rooms and meals during the trip to Thornton Township and Dolton credit cards. In addition, the videos show Henyard used multiple village and township vehicles owned by taxpayers to escort the caravan, including a flatbed trailer with a photographer, flying a drone, and a DJ.
We got our mayor right here coming from Dolton, Illinois, walking all the way to Springfield. Y'all make some noise for our mayor, the people's mayor.
But they didn't always walk.
We on motorbikes, baby.
At times, riding electric bikes.
Y'all see my bike?
Our township supervisor.
It looks like a misspending of tax funds. I think that's the biggest concern.
Dolton trustee Jason House has been doing battle with the mayor since she took office.
Very disturbing to hear these things or to kind of see some of the receipts that appear to be connected to it. And I think the taxpayers really deserve better than that.
And then there's the merch.
This shirt, one of the t-shirts.
Along the way, Henyard sold and gave away t-shirts and hoodies, also available on her charity's website. A week before the trip, the township paid $17,000 for specially printed hoodies and t-shirts, but won't say what they're for.
I think that everything she has initiated has been something to promote her, something to get her name in household, something to get people to buy into voting for her.
Our investigation found at least $11,000 in public funds spent on that trip. But both Dolton and Thornton Township have been slow or unresponsive to open records requests. So what was the purpose of the 10-day march to Springfield?
I have created a bill, which we're going to speak before the Revenue Committee, to give everybody $5,000 on their income tax when they file, if you are suffering from cancer.
A noble goal, except the Revenue Committee wasn't meeting when the group arrived in Springfield. Henyard did later testify at a committee hearing in Chicago, but so far nothing has come of her bill.
I think I'm doing a damn good job on leave.
So we went to a recent Thornton Township Board meeting to ask Henyard some questions about all that spending.
I've never ever been bitter to the news. This is my olive branch to the media. Can you guys reach out to us and ask us our opinion before you post it? I would appreciate it.
And so we did.
I want to ask you a few questions.
Okay.
But Henyard wasn't anxious to talk about her charity.
Why did you and the board vote to give your foundation $10,000?
I'm the face of the foundation. My name is Nowhere, sir. I'm the face.
You're the face. What was the purpose of going to Springfield?
Thank you, guys. Hey, she doesn't have any more comments, guys.
We're going to talk.
She doesn't have any more comments. Thanks, guys.
That's Keith Freeman, whom Henyard hired at both Dolton and Thornton Township and was part of her Springfield walk.
Look at Keith, baby!
Freeman also filed paperwork for the charity bearing Henyard's name.
Why are you using public money for your personal charity?
$17,000 for insurance. Why?
And with that, her security detail hustled Henyard upstairs and blocked the staircase with a table. So we tried asking another employee who went on that trip.
You went down to Springfield, and what were you hoping to do in Springfield?
You need to ask the people that handles that. I'm not the one that handled it. I was just riding the bike. We need more officers on the streets. We need our streets repaved. So to spend that kind of money on a charitable event or supposed charitable event really doesn't seem like the best use of tax dollars.
We also sent Henyard a detailed list of questions about her charity and how the money is being used. We've not yet heard back. In most states, in order to solicit donations, a nonprofit organization is required to register as a charitable organization with the state. Illinois is one of those states that require registration to solicit donations. Tiffany Henyard's Cares Foundation was not registered. This is according to a letter that was sent to her by the Illinois Attorney General Office back in December. Forms to complete the registrations were included with the letter, along with the request that the forms be completed and submitted by January 12th of 2024. The forms were not completed, so the Illinois Attorney General's Office sent a final request letter.
which outlined that failure to comply would leave them no other option but to pursue legal actions. Nonprofits must file 990s, which shows how much money was raised and how it benefited the nonprofit's cause. Looking at the IRS website, it shows that Tiffany Henyard's Cares Foundation has not filed any 990s since being registered as a nonprofit. Then there was the incident in which one of the vocal opponents of Tiffany Henyard's cars were riddled with bullets. Valeria Stubbs, a former Dolton Village trustee, has been a vocal opponent of Mayor Tiffany Henyard's apparent unlawful acts.
Valerie Stubbs, a former trustee, can't believe what's going on here.
I think it's deplorable for her to lock out elected officials, not only the residents, but the elected officials also, so they can conduct the business of the village.
On the morning of July 14, 2023, at approximately 6:30 a.m., the former Dolton trustee, Valeria Stubbs' cars were shot up while parked at her house. Now, to be clear, there is no information confirming that the former trustee Valeria Stubbs' cars being shut up has anything to do with her critique of Tiffany Henyard's. However, with everything that has been happening, one has to wonder.